What's up, everybody? This is your host with the most big bang, and welcome to the shit show. You know, sometimes in life, history always repeats itself. No matter how many laws the government tries to implement, or how many laws they keep trying to enforce and put in, it don't matter, because history is going to always repeat itself over and over again. It's like the same repeat, to where sometimes in your life you just say, if these people ain't going to never get a solution, then why are we worried about the problem? And that's the problem in America. Why we having so many problems? Because nobody cares. Because it's always going to be the same stuff over and over and over again. Like, let me just break some things down so everybody can understand, overstand, and understand what I'm talking about when I'm saying what I'm saying. There will always be murder. Somebody is always going to kill somebody. That's one thing that will never stop and never go away and never be dismissed or abolished, is murder. Child molestation. There's always going to be predators out there molesting young boys and young girls, and that's going to go on to the end of time as well. That's another sick disease that's never going to go away. Rape. Somebody's going to be sexually abused and raped. That's never going to be something that's going to disappear or go away. Kidnapping. That ain't gonna never go away. That's gonna also be here to the end of time. Robbery. That's something that's gonna be here also to the end of time. Let me think. What else? Gang banging. That's gonna always be here to the end of time. Police brutality. That's gonna always be here to the end of time. Black on black crime. That's gonna always be here to the end of time. White on white crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, or any nationality is always gonna be the same. Racism is here to stay and ain't going nowhere neither. Drunk driving, it ain't gonna never go nowhere, and it's always gonna be here to stay. Shoplifting is always gonna be here, and it's always gonna be here to stay. And that's just a few things. If you can think of some other things that's always here to stay, drop them in the comments. And it's just the same stuff over and over again. The bad history that this country has, and it will have, and it will continue to have. And one thing that they always going to have for all of these crimes that's committed, they always going to have prisons. They always going to build those prisons. They always going to have those investors that invest in those prisons, so they can lock your ass up, put you in that prison, so the investors can get their return on their money. So that's why the police, that's why they only react after a crime has happened. They don't prevent crime. A police officer's job is not to prevent crime. A police officer's job is to make an arrest for the slave master after a crime has been committed, or the extortion master. You can call them that too, because they'll give you a traffic ticket for some of the dumbest crap in the world. And it's just always going to be the same cycle. A history repeating itself over and over again. And then people always say, oh, well, why they won't stop shooting each other? Or why are these cops doing this? Or why are these black people killing each other? Or why are these people robbing this person? Why are these people robbing that person? Oh, and people being on drugs too. That ain't gonna never go away neither. That's gonna be here to the end of time. But you know what though? There's one thing that won't be here to the end of time, and that is a civil war. We haven't had a civil war in over what now, 250 years? I think it's maybe more than that. But we haven't had a civil war. We haven't had Americans going to war against Americans. I wonder if that's going to happen. And I wonder how that's going to pan out. Because the way the world is going right now, man, you never know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. I was just checking to see who was pulling up next to me. You know, you always got to be careful of your surroundings out here, because there's a lot of weirdos out here. So you got to stay on the point. Stay suited and booted at all times. Always watch your surroundings. I don't care who you are. I don't care how bad you are or how tough you are. You always watch your surroundings. Little Mexican girl, shit, she got some ass on her. Anyway. But, yeah, man. History just keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same tragedies over and over and over and over and over again. Plane crashes. That's something that ain't gonna never go away. America sticking their noses in everybody's business. That ain't gonna never go away neither. Unless one day one of these other countries get tired of their ass and decide to just nuke our asses and blow our asses up. But this is this world is evil. This country, everything is evil. They got so many people in this country brainwashed. It's just pathetic, man. You know what I'm saying? You got everybody still waiting on Jesus. Still waiting on a miracle. Still waiting on something good to happen. You know, the only thing that don't repeat itself to me is everybody can read all of this stuff in a book of stories that's a little over 2,000 years old, and they believe in this book, but we don't see the miracles of what's happening. You know? Because, you know, a lot of people are questioning it now. They waking up. They saying, where's God? You know? You know, God didn't intervene when these Spaniards and Europeans and British people came over here to our indigenous land over here, which is known as Turtle Island, before it was called the United States of America. Do your history if you think I'm lying. And, you know, our people, our tribes, we used to trade with these people. We should do business with these people. Trade firearms for tobacco, firearms for cattle, firearms for buffalo, whatever, sheep, anything. We bartered through life. And then all of a sudden these people wanted to get greedy and be the colonizers that they are, and they basically took this shit over. So it's theirs now. And now we just the tenants that's trying to survive in it and barely trying to make it. Gentrification, and we slowly getting pushed out of our neighborhoods by Hispanics. And we're not educating ourselves enough to know not to play the game. But this world is sad. To be honest, there's nothing really exciting about living in America. Nothing. There's nothing to do out here. All of this shit now, man, is boring. Same thing, like I said, history just repeats itself over and over and over again. You go out to Las Vegas is whack. Now it's overpriced. They want to charge you $20 just to park in the parking lot. They want to overprice you on mediocre food that don't taste good. I don't even go on the strip no more when I go to Vegas. I go out there to go see my folks. And if I do go eat, I go eat in the restaurants that's in the city that's away from the strip. And of course I do go to Raider games. I go to Raider games faithfully. I have to admit that. But everything is just the same, man. It's the same old same. It's the same old song. Just a different meaning and a different tone, but it's the same. And it's all the same, homie. Everything is gonna be the same. After I'm gone, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna take my place. When you gone, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna take your place. And that's just how the world is gonna be. It's never gonna stop until this country has a civil war, and this country needs to have stricter laws and more strict guidelines. But see, they'll never do that. Like in third world countries where you steal something, you lose a finger. If you run, you lose a toe. But America is too greedy. The corporation ain't gonna allow that. That's damaged goods. And like, no, we not finna do that. Dude, we signed your parents signed that contract. You committed that murder? Oh no, we need you. We need you in the slave plantation. And you young too? You 19, 20, 21, 22 years old? We need you in that slave plantation, boy. You finna get up there, you finna help make these chairs. You finna help make these license plates. You finna help make this furniture. You finna help make these clothes. Whatever they tell those CEOs to do, that stuff comes from the investors down to the warden, down to the CEO. And for the rest of your life, or whatever time you get in there, you ain't nothing but the government's bitch. And even when you get out and you can't find a job and nobody hire you, and then you do something stupid again, and you go right back to prison again just to be what? The government's bitch. But shoot, I'm free. I ain't never been to prison. But I've been to jail before. But I get up and go to work every day. And what am I? Man, I'm the government's bitch too. So I'm not better than nobody. I don't ever think I'm better than nobody. You know, we gotta pay taxes and shit. We gotta pay all these bills and shit. You know, you got motherfuckers stealing money from me. You got child support trying to steal money from me for some shit that I don't even know about. You got the government trying to steal money from me. And then you got family members that made bad financial decisions. And they always asking for money. I ain't ask nobody for nothing. I don't ask people for shit. If I can't get it myself, then I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. History will always repeat itself when it comes to me. I'm not asking you for nothing. I'm not asking for no handouts. I'm not asking for no help. If I need to struggle, I'm going to struggle on my own. But eventually, one day, I'm going to break out of that struggle. And I'm going to make it. I don't have to sell dope no more. I don't have to shoot at people. I don't have to rob. I don't have to steal. I don't have to gangbang. I don't have to do nothing but live my life and live my life the right way, the best way I can, and how I can. You know? And for some races, generational wealth will always repeat itself to the end of time, because some people are smart and financially sound and they know how to manage their money properly, and they have wills that they pass down to their children and their grandchildren, because they gave their families a head start, because they robbed and stole from us and other people. And non-generational wealth, which is people that look like me, is always going to be the same as well. It ain't no curse that needs to be broken. It's just that people just need to start waking up and being more financially responsible. Because we all moving funny out here right now. You know? Everybody is not moving the way that they supposed to move no more. Everybody is out here starving. Everybody is out here struggling. Everybody is out here barely making it. Everybody is. There's a lot of people that's barely having enough to pay their bills. You know what I'm saying? Because you know debt is always going to repeat itself too. And debt ain't never going nowhere. They're going to make sure you stay in debt to the day you die. You can't win when you're a slave, man. You can't win when you're a part of the system. Just like if you gang banging and you out there in them streets, the streets is always undefeated. That's the same thing with the government, dude. The government is always going to be undefeated. They feel like they want you to go out there and sell drugs for them, and they'll give you a 2 or 3 year run, and then they'll make sure you accumulate that wealth, and you got a substantial amount of money and property and cars and all that stuff. They know that they can take that stuff from you whenever they want to. Oh yeah, he made like $10 million. Let's just go ahead and indict him. Let's get the raid going. Let's get the warrant signed by the judge. Because that right there is the same thing in history repeating itself over and over again. But I'm just talking. I just wanted to put something on y'all mind. I'm about to go up in this store, grab me some cigars, go home. Thank the Almighty High that I made it home safe. Take me a nice hot shower, kick my feet up and relax. But this is your host with the most, Big Bang. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to, you can share my video. I don't care. I ain't gonna strike you or demonetize you or nothing like that. I ain't into that, man. Each one teach one. We all gotta share information with each other, man. There's enough to go around for everybody. See me, I'm not doing it for money. I'm just doing YouTube for information, giving out free information, giving out knowledge, giving out wisdom and understanding of life. That's all I'm doing. You know what I mean? If I was ever to get to that point to where I would be monetized, yeah, it'd be cool. But it's not like it's something that I'm trying to make a career out of. I just want to share information. So one day, as my kids get older and my grandkids get older in life, they can come back and look at their grandfather's videos and they can understand the concept of life to be ready and know what's going on in life. So they won't be turning everything to a blind eye, and they won't have to be thinking that every time something goes wrong, Jesus is going to make things better. Nah, it's up to you to make it better. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Because just like God ain't got nothing to do with none of it neither. Because if God was heavily involved, there would never be none of the things that I said earlier in the video that would repeat itself over and over again. But they do say in the Bible, God could be a mean God. But they try to make it seem like God was just this nice person all the way through, and God didn't have flaws, and God didn't commit no wrong. But God wiped out armies. You know, God murdered millions of people, but we still praise him. But like I said before, this is your host with the most, Big Bang, and I'm out of here. Peace.